Anyway, here's the type chart. We're going to try to justify every single thing on here that's green, black, or red. That's the last color. Yeah, it took me a moment. I don't know why. I know this has been done before, but I'm trying to make a more reasonable and less cringe video than other people have made. So this is just justification. It's not the explanation, because an explanation would be these things made sense to the creators and some were good for balancing. So, but let's try to justify all of them, and let's just start at a random spot. Okay, fighting is super effective against normal. That makes sense. You would think people who are trained to fight, like martial artists, would beat, normal people up. Fighting is 0 against ghost because, fighting skills don't really help you if, the thing you're fighting isn't physical. That also explains normal effectiveness on ghosts because, ghosts, you can't touch a ghost. But also a ghost can't touch you. This can be justified by the fact that I don't think anyone has ever been killed by a ghost or claimed to have been killed by a ghost in real life. Well, I guess it's hard to claim that you were killed by a ghost unless you were like resuscitated, but and generally ghost sightings and stuff seem to spook people rather than hurt them. So yeah, let's carry on. I guess normal people wouldn't be able to break rocks or break steel. Makes sense. But if you were an expert, you would be able to do it. Amazing. Good luck, fighting something that's flying. It'll just fly away. The same explanation for ground. If you're stuck on the ground, how are you gonna do it? We're gonna take care of the easy ones. Obviously, if you're flying, you could, easily take down someone who's focused entirely on fighting. Fighting isn't useful against psychics. I guess someone with strong mental powers could, outsmart you. If you ever tried punching ice, it's not very strong. And of course, fighting, good has to defeat evil, and, obviously it's kind of noble. Fairy I kind of think of as angels, and I don't think humans can hurt angels, so put that as like a half. We'll leave the poison and bug for later. I don't know, you think of birds, that they're not strong enough to break rocks or steel. I guess it's just that simple. Obviously birds kill bugs. Not that flying type is the bird type, but it's just generally associated with it. Flying beating grass kind of makes sense, but it's hard to justify, so we'll give it some time. Not very effective against electric. We'll just imagine a bird fighting electric wires. Obviously the bird would get fried, but I don't think birds can do much to electric wires and stuff. It just kind of makes sense. You don't really have to deal with electricity unless, because you can't really like jump up and grab circuitry, the hanging wires on the street, but birds can land on them. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Let's get to poison. Obviously, you can't poison steel. It's not alive. But as for grass, there's certain types of sicknesses that affect only plants. or diseases. They're called blights. So that kind of explains that. I guess poison wouldn't be very effective against ghosts. It's like human technology. I don't know. I don't think a ghost would die from coronavirus. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Ground destroys poison. That kind of makes sense. You think about mushrooms. They actually get, they die. I kind of think of ground as like the natural flow of time, And I guess no one will die from your poison mushrooms if you just cover them up with dirt. Let's just use that to segue into fire and ground. I think that would be kind of clever. Yeah, so ground is effective against fire. If you want to put out a fire, you throw some rocks on it, or you throw some dirt on it, or throw some water. There we go. We're making progress. But let's go back a little. Okay, so ground and rocks. I don't know. Time degrades rocks. Yeah, I don't know. Ground just has this sense of time to it. Same for steel. Time will degrade steel. It'll rust. And electricity. Oh man, electricity. It loves to go into the ground. Just can't control itself. Just can't help it. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Electricity its knees get weak when the Earth shows up. It's just the Earth is just very neutral, and electric charges love that. Okay, let's keep going. Rock. I don't know. I feel like if you threw a rock at a fighter, they'd just deflect it. Obviously, that's to kill birds or anything flying. You ever throw a rock at the Earth? Yeah, it doesn't do much damage. Obviously, bugs are killed. Rocks aren't as strong as steel. But, steel is often used to break rocks. You have a hammer, also to break ice. There you go. Ghosts are super effective against ghosts because, if you listen to ghost stories or stuff, let me think. There's a really good example. So, they used to have these things called oracles, where basically you go to a statue and you listen to it whisper, and it'll tell you, about the future and stuff. And but there was this one guy who's like, this doesn't make sense. You'll have a statue of the same person in different places, and both statues will talk to you. So it's like ghosts contradict each other. Very good. Ghost is super effective against psychics. Usually think of I don't know, people into divination, as in summoning ghosts. But ghosts. We'll save that for later. All right, fire and rocks. Fire just makes rocks black. It doesn't really burn them. Obviously, fire burns bugs. This is the only type that's an animal. We know all animals are weak to fire. So yeah. Fire melts steel. Let's just say all the neutral matchups, so poison not very effective against poison. Those just kind of make sense, and you just kind of accept it. So let's just blank those out. It's kind of stupid to justify those. Yeah, some are, some aren't. We'll just let that be. All right, we're looking good. Water breaks up the ground. Water makes rocks corrode or fade or whatever. Maybe not corrode. Obviously, water is great for plants, doesn't hurt them. Oh yeah, fire burns grass. Yeah, makes sense. Fire is not very good at burning water. It's kind of interesting. If you burn hydrogen, you get water. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, let's carry on. Grass, not very effective against flying. Obviously, flying is in the air. Like I said, blights destroy plants. Grass, trees can break up the earth. Also, houses. There's a tree that was pushing my house up. Houses, sometimes made of rocks. Plants, bugs love to chill in the grass, so no, it doesn't hurt them. I imagine you hit a piece of steel with a leaf, not very effective. I guess you can throw grass at a fire; it won't hurt the fire. But I guess it absorbs water, so if you're water, you're out of luck. We'll just deal with this thing about the dragons. So dragons resist fire, water, grass, and electric. That makes sense because dragons are supposed to be strong. They have scales, so when you think of fire, water, grass, and electric as the main elements, if you will, of the world. Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. So it makes sense. I always thought that was intuitive, glorious even. Yeah, again, psychic people can trick fighting people. I guess psychics have power over like spells and stuff, so yeah, they control poison. But even if let's say suppose that being a psychic is possible, it's not as effective as just being the modern revolution, industrial revolution. I'm not saying you can't be a psychic. I'm just saying, whether or not it's true, if psychics are real, then obviously, being able to pick stuff up is not as valuable as having a machine do it. Okay, ice being super effective against flying. I guess you can't fly when there's cold weather. Your wings are frozen, I guess. Yeah. What is it? The birds fly south for the winter. Yeah, they don't like it. I think ice breaks up the ground. I think that makes sense. Well, water gets in the ground and then it becomes ice, and I think ice can be denser than water. Ice can take up more volume than water at times, and I guess you could break the earth that way. Obviously, ice is not very effective in steel or fire. If you have a bunch of water and a bunch of ice, depending on the temperatures and what you have more of, either it'll all become water or it'll all become ice. So, it would have made sense to make both of them resist each other, but they didn't. They made it so okay, if you have ice and water, the ice will become water. But they kind of balanced it out by including the fact that hey, freeze dry will hurt water super effectively. So I'd say they balanced out that fact. In that case, it's the water becoming ice. Also, this 1/2 against water kind of makes sense because Pokemon battles are always done at room temperature. It's a fact. Obviously winter kills plants. Ice beats dragon. I mean, dragons have to have a weakness, and it's gonna be ice. It just has to be. It has to be something, and ice makes the most sense. Yeah, that one is, it is what it is. Yeah, dragons not very good at breaking machines. It's just a fact. I guess you can. No, it just doesn't make sense. Well, I mean, dragons are strong, but well, not all dragons. Some are special. Some are physical. Yeah, evil is not very good against good. You can think of fighting as good. I mean, it's noble to train and exercise. Ghosts are just illusions created by demons. So, yeah, dark is very effective against ghost. And ghost not very effective against dark. If you're counting on a ghost to beat a demon, well, you bet on the wrong side. Demons give psychics their power, so yeah, they can't really hurt them. And obviously demons can hurt psychics. Just makes sense. Yeah, dragons are strong. They're strong against each other. Makes sense. I mean, you usually think of dragons as solitary creatures. You don't really see movies where it's a bunch of dragons living together. Usually, it's probably because it probably costs a lot to put a dragon on the screen. A lot of dragons on the screen. So, anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, regular fighting doesn't beat poison. For a lot of history, people try to, beat poison using natural methods, and it didn't really work. This doesn't really make sense because you'd like slap a bug, but it would just be crushed. But the thing is, a lot of bugs can fly, so or scurry, and they're hard to kill. You try to slap a bug, it runs away or it flies away, especially mosquitoes. Well, that makes a lot of sense now. I don't know. I think birds steal things from plants. I mean, I think trees have thorns so that birds can't land on them, but it still doesn't work out. Poison not very effective against the ground. Illness. Again, ground is like the flow of time. I think it's like the earth. It represents time. Coronavirus passes away. All diseases pass away. Poison not very good against rocks. That just kind of makes sense. You can't poison a rock. What are you, stupid? Ground is not very effective against bugs. Yeah, bugs live in the ground. They love it. Bugs, they can't really, not very good at fighting, If someone's trying to kill a bug, the bug can't really do much against it. But bugs are good at, biting people when they're asleep, so that's why they're normal against. They do 1x against normal types, or mosquitoes will hurt people. Yeah, birds, they don't have a chance against birds. I imagine bugs can get sick, so it makes sense, poison. Sometimes people will say in ghost stories that their pets were scared of what was going on, and so bugs are animals, so if they can feel fear, they might be afraid of ghosts. Bugs are not very good at, obviously not fire, but they eat leaves, so we'll let's give it some time. Obviously a rock can break ice. Rock can break ice. I think of fairies and as angels. I don't think bugs can do a lot of damage to angels. Steel is super effective against fairies. Since the industrial age, people are less likely to believe in supernatural beings. That's one way of thinking about it. Steel not being very effective against fire makes sense. Not very effective against water. Obviously, steel floats, so it's good that it doesn't hurt water. I guess that's the justification. And against electricity, I mean, what can steel do to electricity? It just, the electricity goes into the steel, and then you don't want to touch that steel. So, if you're steel and you touch electricity, you're made of steel and you touch electricity, no one's going to want to touch you because they'll get shocked. Obviously fire melts ice. Ghost is effective against psychic. Ghosts seem to possess psychics. But yeah, something like that. Let's keep going. Obviously, fish get fried if they touch electricity. Grass is not very effective against electricity. Yeah, I guess you can't really like shock a plant, I don't think. Plants don't have organs like we do, so you don't have to worry about the electricity stopping your heart if you're a plant. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Dark demons are not very effective against angels, but angels are very effective against demons. Poison, I don't know. Man's evil. Angels can't stop humans from doing evil things. Or making machines, I guess angels can be thrown into fire if God gets pissed at them, because he controls hell. In the Bible, Satan is described as a dragon, and the angels lock him up and other demons. So, yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, obviously Satan can't beat the angels. Bug is super effective against psychic and dark. The Bible says, worms will eat the wicked in hell. So demons and psychics, yeah. Angels are grieved by people doing bad things, and the hardest of all, ground and grass. Well, I guess dirt. Plants love dirt, so and there you go. It's all done, all justified. Ta-da!